Hey there, English Expanders. It's me, Agnes, again. Welcome to my next episode of Expand Your English. It's episode 12, actually. I haven't thought that I will come so far in my Facebook Live video career. But I stepped out of my comfort zone very much because I hate doing videos. I should tell you this one. And I faced my fears and got further and further. And this is episode 12, in which I'm going to talk about my mistakes I did during my English studies. I started learning English when I was 14. Not when I was 2, not when I was 3, not when I was at primary school, but at the beginning of secondary school, I started learning English. And you? The question of the day. Please tell us, when did you start learning English? Tell us, how long have you been learning English? And until the answers come in, let me say hi to Tundi, my loyal follower. She's always there. Hi, Tundi. Nice to have you here. And please tell us, you too, when did you start learning English? Did you start learning English at a very early age or later in your adult life? Tell us. Now, as I told you, and I told this to many of my students, when I was at primary school at the age of 9, I started learning German. First, I didn't have very good German teachers. They kept coming and going. And then, at the age of 11, I got a wonderful, a brilliant, a motivating German teacher who made me so interested in the language that there and then, at the age of 11, I decided that I want to be a language teacher. Obviously, first I wanted to be a German teacher, but then as the years passed, at the age of 14, I decided that I'm going to start a new language, which is going to be English, because all of my favorite bands that time, Guns N' Roses, and Take That, and New Kids on the Block, sang in English, and I wanted to understand them. And of course I wanted to understand what Madonna was singing, because they all sang in English and I was so curious about it. So at the age of 14, I decided to take up English at the secondary school, and I went into a class specialized in English. And then in the first 2 years I made many mistakes. In the second 2 years I made more and more mistakes. And at the university, I made some other mistakes too. And you know what? It's really hard for me to talk about my mistakes. But I want to show you that even those of us who got to a certain level of English made mistakes during the way. And you don't have to be afraid of your mistakes, but you need to learn from them, embrace them, and make everything better for you. You need to learn from my mistakes. I will share you my dark secrets of studying English, but I would like to ask you too to tell us your dark secrets of learning English, the mistakes you made. If you notice that you made the same mistake, feel free to write it down in the comments too. And until we start the show, I would like to greet Adrienne, hi there, and Esther. Nice to have you here. Feel free to post your comments, your questions, anything about learning English. And if you stay with me until the end of the show, which is going to be 10 more minutes or 15 minutes, I'm going to give you an offer that I think you will take, but only if you stay until the end of the program. Welcome everyone, and let's get started with today's topic, what mistakes I did during my English studies and how I became a confident user of English. I would be never satisfied with my English, you know. I keep making mistakes I'm realizing it while I'm talking to you that I make mistakes. But you know what? I keep going on. I don't care about them. I try to learn from them and become better and better. Now, the number one mistake I made during my English studies was something that I did for years and years and years, and I'm really ashamed of that. The biggest mistake I did is that I was too afraid to speak in front of others, especially in front of more advanced students. You know, I went to a class specialized in English, I told you, where we had two groups, beginners and more advanced, intermediate students. And of course, I got into the beginner group because I didn't speak a word in English. And during the years, we realized that the other group is much better than us. And when we were together with the other group, I didn't say a word in English. I was too ashamed of how my English was not as good as theirs. And you know what? This was a stupid mistake. And the reason why it's a stupid mistake, because you can only learn by practicing, by trying your voice, by speaking in front of anybody, because believe me, they don't care how you speak in English. They only care about themselves. They only care about how not to make a mistake in front of other people. They don't care about your English, but you will only manage to speak better English if you try your voice, if you speak up aloud in front of other people. I will tell you, I've told you my journey with live videos a lot of times. You know, for the first time, all my text was written down for me, and I was literally reading out my Facebook live shows, and you know, they sounded really stupid. They sounded like I was reading from a machine, and I sounded like a robot. But as I got more and more confident, and as I got more and more practice with Facebook Live videos, I felt I was getting better and better at it. Of course, I'm not as good as my models like Timmy, Wash Timmy at Don't Panic English, or Amy Porterfield, or Luria Petrucci. They are not English teachers, but they are online marketers, and they are very good in their field. But I'm getting closer and closer to my dream, to contact you each and every week. Oh my God, something went in my mouth. And contact you each and every week. And you know, I'm here. And I didn't think about myself talking to a camera and you for 20 or 25 minutes every week, but now here I am because I tried. And of course I failed sometimes because my shows were not very good at the beginning, but I stood up. After every fall, I stood up and went on, and here I am again practicing. And this is what you also need to do. So don't make the stupid mistake of being too afraid to talk in front of other people because you might think they might laugh at you. No, they won't. They don't care about your English. They only care about their English. And this is one thing you need to promise for yourself. Whenever you have the opportunity to talk in English in front of other people, or with people who have a different language than yours, take this opportunity and use it. You will get better and better day by day. This is what we can see at our language school, at Don't Panic Language School in Air, where we only have speaking oriented lessons. We care about speaking, we don't care about writing there, and believe it or not, our students are getting results day by day by speaking 90 minutes a day, and this is also helping them a lot, right, Timmy? Yanei, Timmy, you're here. You can tell that's true for our students because you learned with us for 2 months, and I think you did a wonderful job there. And Timmy, have you got your language exam results yet? We are curious and wait for your answer. So, do you make this stupid mistake of not speaking English in front of other people? Please tell me in the comments, and then we can all soothe your fears and motivate you during the way. Okay, right now I'm going to look at the comments, and please tell me hi or drop me a like or send me something that you are here. I only can see something on my iPhone's screen, but that's not the best thing. All right, I can see comments are coming in, but let me help you. Let's help me with that. Okay, I can see Tundi is calling Heini, my most loyal viewer, to come. Heini, we are waiting for you. Where are you? Right. Okay, let's look at the comments. And yeah, I'm not very good with them, but yeah, you can help me out with them. But don't worry, I'm going to continue my mistakes. And believe me, it's not good to talk about them. Sometimes I feel, oh my God, how stupid I was. But I show you my my not as intelligent side today. Now, the second mistake I kept doing for years was that I was studying only grammar all the time. Sitting with my book. Sitting with my book there. My most loyal company at the age of 17 was English Grammar in Use. I kept doing exercises. Yeah, that did good for my writing skills, but I haven't tried out the new, but I didn't try out the new constructions in real life English. Why not? Because I didn't have the opportunity to try them out. Of course, we had some speaking practice at school, but you know, in 1996 when I got my language exam, my B2 language exam, you know, we only had 4 or 5 lessons a week with my English teacher, and we were practicing for the writing part, and only 1 lesson a week was a speaking practice. So I couldn't really try out the new grammar structures which I learned continuously in speaking. So what I did, I tried, I wanted to use the present perfect continuous, but I couldn't use it very well because I haven't practiced it. So I couldn't really understand the present perfect. Why did they use it? Because there wasn't any opportunity for me to listen to real life English or try out my English back then, because the internet, it was such a new invention back then that I haven't even heard about it. So I couldn't reach out for a speaking buddy or a speaking partner on the internet as easily as you can do it today. So how can you practice speaking? I told you many times, jump into the English Expander Facebook group or to the Don't Panic online English group. Find a speaking partner for yourself. Find them on Messenger. Click on the video button, and there you go. You can talk to them for free. You can practice English for free. And, you know, the only thing you should do is not to say a word in Hungarian. Try to make yourself understood only in English. And, of course, there are many more websites where you can practice speaking English for free. And these are called language exchange websites, and they sometimes you can, for example, get English lessons when you teach somebody for Hungarian, and then it's free. But before an important language exam or an important test, you can also pay for a teacher for $10 or $15 for a lesson. Okay, so do you always study grammar? Do you also always study grammar and don't try out the grammar structures in real life or in real context? Then you're making the same mistake as I did when I was 17 years old. Audience says that she's always afraid of making mistakes. Adrian, can you tell us why you are afraid of making mistakes? Because if you are afraid of making mistakes, then your speaking will slow down. You will sound like a robot. You're not going to sound natural. You're always thinking, and because you're thinking, you're going to use all the time, and this will slow down your speaking and make it more unnatural. Now, Balázs, you're here. Hi, Balázs. Am I getting better with my videos now? Please tell me, because you were the one who told me after my first videos that I sound like a robot there. And you know what, Balázs? I kept on practicing, and I hope I am getting better and better. Now, Tundi says she has been studying English for half a year. No, sorry, she studied English about for half a year, 16 years ago, and she left it because she lost her job. And she was left alone with her 2 children. And what about now, Tundi? I know that you keep learning English. How are you getting on with your English? I think you're getting better and better each and every week. Right. Okay. Now, I don't know how I should look at the comments on my computer, but I will try to do my best and find yes, and yes. Now finally I found them and all the comments. So she was left with her 2 children, and she started learning it again, I mean Tundi, 2 years ago, and she's been learning with Don't Panic from December, and we are very proud of you, Tundi, because I think you've been in Dumasuli as well before December, so I met you there in the lessons. So keep on doing what you're doing, because you're going on the right way. So far I talked the man that I was too afraid to speak in front of other people. Now I can speak in front of, I don't know, 12 people right now. And the other mistake I did was studying grammar all the time and not trying them out in real context. The third mistake I made, and I know I was really stupid to make this, I was studying words, not whole expressions or sentences or even functions. I studied words because at the university we needed to boost our vocabulary. You know, I studied how to become an English teacher, and then after 3 years I studied English literature and linguistics, and I needed to boost my vocabulary, so I started learning words. Only words. I don't know which words I learned there. I promise, I think I never used those words in my speaking nowadays, because I forgot them. But later I realized when I learned complete sentences and the sentences I learned at secondary school, I remember them much better than those single words which I learned at university. I can now even recall those sentences that we learned at secondary school with my second English teacher, Szabó Péter, who I can thank a lot. He gave me motivation because he said, I told you this story before, my English teacher said, I was never going to make into university because my English was that poor that time. So he motivated me to show him that I can get into university. So I studied a lot, and with my hard work, not with my good English, I could get into university. And now here I am. Right, so when I realized that studying sentences works much better for me than studying single words, my English increased like that immediately. I started learning complete sentences, for example, about how to make offers. What about going to the cinema, or how to disagree with somebody? I'm afraid I totally disagree, or I'm afraid that's not my point of view. So I started learning complete expressions, and now I'm using these all the time. In my head, believe it or not, I'm not translating what I want to say. I'm thinking in English. And with that strategy, you can achieve, and of course with practicing a lot of speaking, you can achieve that you're not going to think and translate your Hungarian thoughts into English, but you will soon start thinking in English. Believe me, it works. So, do you study words or complete sentences? Tell us in the comments below. Which one works better for you? Okay, the fourth mistake I made, I can still remember that struggle I had while reading graded readers in English. Graded readers are books which are in English, but which were written for language learners. And with the first graded reader, I had huge success. It was level 1 or stage 1 or 2, so it was for the beginners. I had huge success. I could understand everything. I didn't need a dictionary. And then I immediately jumped to stage 3. And I still remember the color of the cover, and I can still remember the title. It was Tom Sawyer's Adventures. Oh my God, what a struggle it was. I opened the book, and on the first page I met lots of new words. And of course, you know what I did? I took down the dictionary, the good old Ország dictionary, the thick one, from the shelf, and I started looking up each and every word in the dictionary. I lost my motivation, I have to tell you, because I chose the wrong reading. It wasn't for my level, and I used too much dictionary. So I didn't apply the strategy that I can find out the word's meaning from the context. And later they taught me that methodology or that strategy at university, so that we could find out the meaning from the context, and then reading got much easier. But of course, I keep choosing readings which are for my level, not too much higher, because if it's too difficult, you will lose your motivation. Try to find readings which suit your level, which are for you, not easier, but not too much difficult. And then, my friend, you will find your motivation in reading. And of course, don't read books that you're not interested in. Don't read articles that you feel are boring for you. Read articles or books that you are keen on the topic, or that the topic you're keen on, that you feel that you want to know everything about that topic. This is how I read articles about Guns N' Roses and Madonna, and nowadays electronic dance music, house music and techno artists, because I'm so interested in these topics that I can't stop reading about them. All right, and my last mistake was was also stupid, as I told you. My greatest fear, beside talking in front of other people, was the listening task. I was horrible in listening. That was my worst skill. I think my listening skill was much worse than my speaking skill, and believe me, I was not good in speaking. But Yeah, the main problem was that one, we didn't practice this at the English lessons at all. We never listened to the cassette player then. Back then there weren't any CDs but cassettes. We never listened because they were big. For the teacher it was too heavy. So we didn't listen to anybody else but our teachers. Okay, so we haven't practiced that. I only practiced that at home when I was preparing for my language exam, and oh my God, it was a hard time for me. I couldn't understand anything from the speakings. Then I got into university where everything was in English, and I listened to lots of different teachers or professors in English, even native speakers as well. So I got used to the English language, but in the first year I failed my listening test. And then I felt it was a shame that I couldn't solve this easy task of listening to some information from a cassette player. And then I did my best, and I went into the library. I went to the library and practiced listening each and every day. Not more than 15-20 minutes. I knew that this was a really difficult part for me. And believe it or not, I was getting better and better. I didn't spend hours and hours with listening each day. But back then, there was no English-speaking television program. There were no podcasts in... I think we have some technical issues. I hope it's going to continue. So we didn't have English-speaking programs. We didn't have podcasts in English. We didn't have YouTube because we couldn't use the internet back then. So I was sitting in the library, and I still remember there were not many listening facilities that we could use. I was watching Faulty Towers, Vacak in Hungarian, Faulty Towers with my favorite comedian, with English subtitles, because then we could use subtitles in video cassettes. We were using video cassettes back then. Boy, I am old. Okay, and then with more and more practice, my listening skills got better and better. And you know what? When I started teaching at secondary school, I promised myself that I would play as many listening CDs and activities with my students as I can, because I knew that for me it was a huge drawback. It was a huge mistake that I didn't listen to a lot of English back then when I was at secondary school, and I will not make this mistake with my students at secondary school. Believe it or not, their listening skill at the final exam was always one of the highest in the final exam results. So I taught you all about the mistakes I made during my way. I made at least 5 mistakes all the time. So I was too afraid to speak, always listened to the others, and then I spoke at the end, maybe. I studied grammar all the time, but didn't practice it in speaking. I didn't study sentences or functions, but only words. And while reading a book, I always looked up the new word, and you know what? I didn't even choose the right level reading for me. And I never practiced listening because I was too afraid of it. I was too afraid to practice the skill because I knew I always failed it. And you? What mistakes what mistakes are you making during your studies? Tell us in the comments so that we can motivate you not to be afraid of them anymore. Tundi says that she started Dumasuli last September and the academy on December, and she made an amazing progress with her English. I know. Okay, now I hope you are going to put your comments here, and I hope you're not going to be afraid of talking about the mistakes you also make, or when you realized that you make mistakes. But if you don't want to share your mistakes, I can fully understand them, because it was really hard for me also to talk about my mistakes. If you want to have more of my live videos or my videos, you can go to my blog site, blog.englishexpander.net. There you can find all my previous Facebook Live videos in one collection, or you can go to English Expander webpage, and don't forget to use the English Expander group, where we all speak in English, comment, and support each other in English, and ask and answer. You can also ask and answer questions from me too. And I also have a 3-part video series, which is absolutely free, and you can join that for free, and it will prepare you to become a much more confident candidate at the speaking test. In 3 20-minute long videos, I will give you huge amount of tips and tricks how to become a better examinee at the speaking test. And in the beginning of the show, I told you, if you stay until the end, I have an offer for you. You know that I am the creator of a very successful online program called Speaking Exam Pass, which prepares students for the speaking test. A lot of my students bought this program. It's not very expensive. You will see it on the site I'm going to give you. It's not very expensive, and it's a step-by-step program. And it started last year, and since then I have 13 successful students who got their language exam, and that's why they could get their degree from university, or they could get higher salaries, or they could get into university because they got the points. So this program is effective. This is an online program with full of video lessons and worksheets and handouts, and also bonuses. And if you check the website and apply for the program today, on the 24th of Saturday, until let's say 8 o'clock in the evening, so you have 10 more hours to decide. If you join this program, then you will get a half an hour extra consultation with me in English online, and we can build your strategy. We can build your English training plan together, how to get better and better with my program, and how to use my program if you have difficulties with using it. So I'm going to post the website where you can apply for my program. It's course.englishexpander.net/VIP. And don't worry, I will post this in the comments below. And if you apply for this program until 8 o'clock in the evening today, on the 24th of March, you will get a free 30 minutes consultation, online consultation like this, but you can talk to me in real life for half an hour, and I will tell you where you are in your studies, what you need to do more, what you need to work more on, and I will help you find the right way for you towards your speaking test. Until then, please watch my other videos, comment about your mistakes, tell us how long have you been learning English, and see you next week. Oh no, next week is Easter holiday, so I think I'm not going to be able to have a show, but who knows, I will tell you. See you next time with a next episode of Expand Your English. This was Expand Your English episode number 12, and I talked about all the mistakes I made during my English studies. I hope you will not make these stupid mistakes, and you will learn from my mistakes. Until next time, see you and take care. Goodbye.